Hello, friends and family, and welcome to the 2023 Waco Annual Charity Open, presented by Prodigy. This is the round 1 back 9 coverage here at Brazos Park East. I'm Holly Finley, and I will be your commentator today, along with Connor O'Reilly.
Super excited to be here, you guys. We see the bees enjoying this nice Texas early spring that we're getting. And the Beast offers a beautiful dichotomy of wooded and open challenges. We see Ella at the top of the leaderboard, Kristen, Sai, one stroke back, Katie and Anakin rounding out the leaderboard with those 3 downs. And it's going to be tight. A lot of good scores on day 1. In hole 10, it's a beautiful power wooded par 4 to me. At 491 feet, this one's going to play right in that nice short upshot range as long as you execute your drive and beat these trees we just flew past here. Most players looking to hit probably a distance driver on this one flat, letting it fade late in the flight. The key thing to avoid here is this green does have a back slope to it, and there's a couple spots down there behind the basket where you don't really have a clean putt, so it can be tricky.
Lyons up first on the hole of 10. And she puts it a bit high, and if it ends up too left, that could be bad news. Down the hill is very tough. I mean, sometimes it's even hard to get a par from there. Hopefully she can scramble for par. Let's see what Katrina Allen has from us. Looking exactly like Lydian. Oh my gosh, that was champ love if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, Katrina having some struggles. I've never seen her quite have struggles this much off the tee. She's usually a very crisp thrower, so hopefully she can find something here and finish strong.
Missy Gannon pushing that Thrasher. Hers ends up a little too left, but she's not so far in that she can't scramble from there. I like this where it fades over to the right gap. Keeps you away from that left side. Ideal shot from Paige Shue.
Yeah, you really want to push it straight through that gap. The big danger on this hole is leaking down left. There's not a lot, especially if you penetrate through that thick wall of trees or bushes that you see there. Katrina is low here, and that one is not going to get up for her. Maybe she just needs to get out of these woods, get back to the open. And Lydia is in a bad place and not quite able to get back to a clean spot. She's still going to have some craftiness to get up and down from there.
Missy's shot isn't as bad as it first appeared. Kind of out in the open, just a little too left. Let's see if she can get all the way up there. Ooh, I like it. Oh, that was rude.
Yeah, last branch to beat. That probably would have put her at circle 1's edge, and we know how great she is from that range. Lydia has a cleaner window than I thought over here. This thing had some heat.
Well, that's the thing about this green, too. It's kind of one of those Las Vegas style greens where you should come in short and sort of scoot up to the basket. If you land at the basket, it's likely you're going to go long down that hill on the backside.
Yeah, well, we do have a lot of grass in certain areas of this course. Most of the greens are pretty highly trodden on, and that is super uncharacteristic from Katrina. Tough to watch right now. Let's see if she can be the champion that she is and find a mental reset even when it feels like her world is collapsing.
This is Missy Gannon's 3rd shot, and that was a bit high, but she's up there putting for par.
That branch kind of saved her, kept her up top. If that one leaks off left, it could roll down and be kind of tricky. She definitely maybe was doing a little too much on that putt, but she ain't big money Missy for no reason.
Lydia Lyons with the proposal putt. Cashes it. Great par save. Yeah, that deserves a run back for sure. Thank you, Flight Factory. From the knee.
Displaying that powerful stroke you were talking about earlier, that's impressive. I might have struggled from a similar position earlier today, and I might need to go ask Lydia how to make those putts.
And Missy with a really good par save. She had to work for that one. That was a working woman's par.
Yeah, both those scrambled shots were a little bit high, but she was able to connect, and Paige with a great birdie look there. She had the best drive of the group by far. Not quite able to capitalize the crispy upshot that she wanted, but that's a great putt.
This hole sort of got away from Katrina, but, we'll just move on to the next one. Leave the past in the past. Hole 11, 279 feet, par 3, another tunnel shot. This is very demanding. The ceiling, again, can come into play. You don't really think about it. You start off, you think about hitting the gap, but again, you can't throw it too high. A lot of players prefer to land short on this dirt hill and just skid up to the basket. I like landing left and short instead of landing high and right. If you land high and right, you get that death putt. Makes it a little more nerve-wracking than it needs to be. Paige Shue up first. Line drive, going a little bit right side on the top shelf, and she'll have that death putt I just mentioned.
Yeah, like Holly said, I think the best position here is to land straight on through the leftmost gap there, about circle's edge short, and slide up to the base of that hill. Lydia's hoping to be kicked out there with some kind of swing. Otherwise, a 4 is likely.
I feel like the most common error here is early left and just swinging it right into the right junk.
This has to be one of the most treacherous greens on the course. There's a lot of spots down to the left where you're not going to have a comfortable stance or most likely a clean line. And
Missy Gannon in that left corner I just mentioned. Very common mistake. See if Katrina Allen can get a putt at it.
There's
that looked
the
like
shot.
A crispy line. There
And
we
while
go.
that might be a miss usually when Katrina's on, I think at this point with how uncomfortable she's looked, that one seemed like the timing was on. So something she can maybe build off of.
Lydia out of position, being smart, just pitching out to the middle of the fairway. She's got a perfectly lined up shot, so this will be her third. Into the green, she'll be playing for bogey.
Oh, and sneaks around the right side of that big tree. That was some fortunate ground action. Being stuck behind that tree can be very tricky.
Missy just gets it as close as she can. It wasn't really a putt from there. Katrina Allen for birdie. Looked like more of just a safe layup.
Yeah, I think she's smart enough to understand. And even a player of Paige's caliber laying that
She
one up.
didn't even want a taste of that death putt. She was in the circle, too.
There's some nasty stuff, as you can see back behind the basket there. It quickly will roll to a spot that you're just taking another 2-putt from.
Lydia showing her putting prowess once again. She cashes that long bogey putt. And Missy getting her par to drop. Sometimes it hurts to lay up those in the circle putts, but like you mentioned, it's nasty back there. And if you miss, you could easily just have another 30-footer. And
Yeah,
nobody hates a drop-in par.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think the more I've played on the tour, I've started to understand that round one, you really got to feel it out. Don't force the issue. And I think that move from Paige could be helpful for the rest of the tournament, staying in control. Hole 12 is the second par 5 on the course, 609 feet. This is going to be our last wooded hole of the track. Plays down off the tee with some elevation drop. You're going to throw a turnover backhand or a flip up forehand to get near that drop zone that we passed. Good second shots are going to kind of come to the bottom of the hill here, or if you throw a great enough drive, you can even crest the hill and give yourself an eagle putt here. Another hole where the 3 can be earned, but also the big number is looming.
Shue up first with a roach off the tee, a really nice turnover shot. She's in a pretty good position to attack this for birdie.
The trick with the backhand here is even if you land it in the middle, a lot of times the spin just pulls it down to the left and you really have to feather that landing.
Missy didn't quite get the right angle. A little bit early release on that.
Katrina goes to the forehand, very common play here, and just pulls it a bit flat into that back line.
It's short, but it's in a good position.
She could definitely still take a 4 from there. Lydia gonna want this one to drop, and it does. Very gentle kiss
Lydia
off the
did
tree.
more of that like aggressive crossbody than like a finessed Anheuser shot.
Yeah, she put some speed on that. This is definitely a shot you'll see a lot of players take some off or throw a slow disc.
We've got some scrambling to be done here. This is Missy's third shot. And this is a par 5, as Connor mentioned, so still parable from here. It could be tough. It could be tough.
Yeah, we're going to need likely a long putt from Missy on this one if she wants any chance at a par.
This is a pretty smart play from Katrina, just landing in a good position. You know, Katrina has the distance to easily do a backhand turnover up over the hill. She could have gotten to the green, but she's just playing it smart.
Yeah, with this being a par 5, I think just getting to the bottom of the hill after not an ideal drive, she's going to have a pretty easy up and down for a look at birdie.
And where Lydia landed is a very common landing position, just right here. Well, that's actually not bad. They cleaned that up since the previous years. You know, a couple years ago, that was unplayable over there. But now you can see the basket and easily pitch up from there.
Yeah, well, there still are a lot of thorny vines and poison ivy out here. I've definitely noticed they've trimmed up a bit from what we've seen, and Missy just seems to be just forcing the issue a little bit on some of these layup shots.
And this hole slipping away from Missy. Let's hope she can tune it in here, get up there to the basket, get away from this one.
This one looks amazing, but just catches that last trunk. Otherwise, it was sliding up on a great line. Yeah, hole 12. All these wooded holes, the shortest ones, the longest ones, they have so much scoring separation, and you just see such a wide range of scores throughout the day.
Katrina's third shot lands at about, say, 50 feet. She's got a putt at birdie.
Yeah, long bid there, but definitely a green you can give it a pretty aggressive run. Nothing too scary behind.
So you can see the flag of the basket from there. What a great forehand pitch up from Shue.
Maybe moving to Charlotte and living there the last couple of years has Paige a lot more comfortable with the scramble forehand than back in Emporia.
You said it. Missy finally by the basket. Gonna get this one over with. Lydia going to that PA5 for a long putt, but doesn't quite connect on that one.
Katrina gonna want to give this one some nice height, drop it in the way she does, and that
Yes!
is, wow.
What a great birdie. Run it back, Flight Factory.
Katrina went from out of sorts to in the basket for birdie on 12, and now all of a sudden she's in position to be able to finish the round and still be in a very good spot on the leaderboard.
Solid par putt from Lyons. Missy going to take a 7 here on hole 12. It's easy to do out here on these par 5s, you know, just get away from you really quick, as we saw from Paige Shue earlier. But not on this one. She takes the 4. It was great to see Katrina get a birdie too after she had a little bit of a shorter drive, but she just did that good positioning with her second shot, and you know, she played it smart all the way down instead of being greedy.
Katrina showed a lot of maturity on that hole.
Let's check out hole 13. We have a Mando, as you can see here on the right side, indicated by that white sign. Road OB right, obviously. Coming in at 555 feet, this will be a par 4 for the FPO division. As long as you make the Mando and get a pretty good ways down there, you should have a chance at a birdie. It's a fairly open drive and a fairly open upshot, as long as you miss the bigger trees. Shue makes the Mando. Flattened out nicely. Looks like she got some good distance out of it.
Yeah, the real score separator of this hole is that tee shot. Just makes you want to bomb it, but you got to be in control enough to hit that mandatory, because usually anything that gets through that gap is going to give you options into the green for birdie.
Katrina pushes the height on that and takes the hyzer landing. I like that. You get a little bit different look and approach towards the green from over there.
Yeah, it kind of takes that right side miss out of play a little bit if you pull it high.
Lydia, another blessing in disguise, almost missed the Mando, hit the limb, kicked her back on the right side of the Mando, and she's safe. Gannon rounding out the card here. Also successfully making the Mando. Oh, she pumped that one.
Yeah, I feel like Missy's been real close to a solid round. That double bogey just hurt her, but I feel like she's been all over the basket all day, and just she can dial in the throwing. I'm sure she's going to finish the tournament strong.
Lydia sends her second shot. She has about a 80-footer at it. I like this low line.
Yeah, bit inside, leaves herself another tester. Let's see if she can knock it down. Katrina playing that same right side skipper. Plays it wide of the tree and just didn't quite give it enough into that headwind.
No, a little short on that one. Have some meat left on the bone for that putt. This is Paige Shue's Nebula. Oh, that was an unfortunate smackdown, but another common error on this hole. You know, I feel like the upshot is really demanding you have to be conscious of what line you're taking, especially the height if you're going to go under that tree right there. She'll pitch up and play for par.
Yeah, hard to tell whether that tree knocked her down from possibly pushing that sidewalk on the left, but either way, nice to get up and down for the par. And Lydia maybe thinking that headwind would keep her up, so giving it a nice soft bid, and that was well gauged.
Allen to save the birdie. Oh, she puts it up, almost drops in. Not quite this one.
You could tell she was a believer for just a moment.
I was a believer too. And Missy, just not quite the Missy we're used to seeing week in and week out. Drives just not quite what I'm used to seeing. The putting not quite as strong.
Yeah, I think part of it has really been the driving and the upshot. She's left herself a lot of those 28-footers where if she puts herself at 25 to 22, she's likely looking at a 2 down or something. All pars on a hole that when you hit that mandatory, we're definitely looking for at least a birdie or two. And the 14th, well known for the triple mandatory, At 303 feet, this is going to be an attackable range, though we will still be looking at that bit of headwind that we saw on that hole, on the final hole, or last hole's green, I should say. 2 new trees planted here by the Parks Department, as we did lose a prominent trunk on the right side from last year. The backhand straight shot is the pure line now, where it used to kind of be the forehand. The forehand still is there if you have the distance and you want to just test that last tree they just planted, but that straight backhand, maybe a little bit of turn, is looking really good right now.
We do have the Zuka triple Mando. As Shue makes it inside the circle, she'll be putting for birdie. That was a perfect shot.
Yeah, it seems like most backhands you want to see turn for just a second and then fight back to flat and a little bit of fade.
You really have to be conscious of your disc choice here and the shot, because you've got that sidewalk left. It's easy to go too high, too hyzery, and next thing you know, you're out of bounds. Lydia Lyons up third.
Yeah, also a road off to the right out of bounds I did not mention during the flyover that you can find, and Lydia fortunate to get some sticky ground play.
Can't believe it stayed.
Yeah, she couldn't believe it stuck, she said. This
Nice
one looks
laser
solid.
from Missy.
Yeah, that hairy tree just stopping her from getting into the green. That's the one that you gotta beat.
Is it moi?
Katrina has a pretty vast array of different putts she'll use in different situations and wins. Just shows how long she's been playing and how she understands how to utilize different wins in different situations. And wow.
Oh, Lyons from about 65. Run it back, Flight Factory.
That was a
Wow.
great putt.
Showing her putting prowess and powers again. I told you, Connor, she is a great putter. You didn't know, but now you know.
I do. This is my first time getting to watch Lydia fully play around, and yeah, definitely showing strong putting. Like I said, I think if she can work on getting that head facing forward longer on her backhand throws, she's going to be a dangerous player.
Missy Gannon getting a birdie. Paige Shue getting a birdie. Lydia Lyons getting a birdie. And Katrina Allen takes a par here on the 14th. And it's time for some wind.
Yeah, we all know these last 4 holes at Waco are a game changer.
Our first ever Disc Golf Pro Tour All-Star ace. An incredible shot there by Sarah Holcomb.
Hello, welcome back. Hole 15, par 4, 558 feet. It's usually very windy here. It's either a strong tailwind or a strong headwind. I've never seen a crosswind. You got OB road left, OB fence right. It plays like a tunnel. This hole is nerve-wracking. You really have to be committed to your decision off the tee. If you're going to go backhand, you need to commit to the flat line. You cannot let it hyzer or you're going to end up OB. Also, again, it's windy here, so you have to choose accordingly. In Shue, you can see her disc turns over, but she keeps it below the fence, so it's still in bounds, and that can be a key here. If that would have been higher than the fence, it's likely it'd be gone.
Yeah, that's
Lydia.
absolutely a key on the backhand. Like Holly said, you have to miss low if you are going to miss, and don't give it a chance to find the out of bounds either way. And you might say, Holly, there has to be crosswinds here sometimes, but really, you guys, the way the river runs alongside the course with a tall cliff face on one side, you almost exclusively will see north and south winds playing on this open stretch of the course, and that one hangs in there nicely from Missy.
It's a really good shot. If you can get near that telephone pole, you're in birdie alley. Katrina Allen, 4 backhands off the tee. Very brave. Look how low she keeps it. Also below the fence line. Not a lot of chance for error. Not a lot of chance for skips. Very good drives from Katrina and Missy.
Yeah, you really
Lyons is short, but I mean, it's still a great drive. You know, it's birdieable from here, but that one is going places. Is it going to be safe? Saved by the fence. I had a couple of those today. Twice, actually. I'm really loving that fence today. I'm also loving that grass art. Where has that been? We need more of that.
Yeah, shout out to Ryan Draper and the crew for understanding how to utilize some easy ad space and getting some big stencils for some pretty sweet graphics on the ground.
So once again, the fence saves Shue's shot. She kept it below the fence. Missy, seeing that, she does a little bit more aggressive on that hyzer line. I like the way that came in towards the green. She'll have like a 5-footer.
Those are 3 shots we've seen hit the fence so far, and this hole has a way of just making you tense up. It's one of those holes that a lot can happen.
This also can be one of the windiest greens on the course. This right now is not a very fair indication of what the putting is like here.
Very rare to play in conditions of sustained wind under like 12 to 15 miles per hour out here. It's usually 15 to 20.
Thank you.
Seems like.
Why is she walking
So then it
towards?
just has to be perfect.
She was thinking that she was trying to take the relief you take if you do take an out of bounds stroke, but she happens to be inbound, so she can only take her relief perpendicular to the line of play, not in any line that she wants along that meter.
Couple of fence saves. A couple of pitch ups. This is Katrina Allen for a birdie on the 15th.
Oh, and
That was dirty.
that's one of those misses you'll see on these Prodigy baskets. They have that thick ladder of chains in the middle that if you really set the disc into, you're almost guaranteed to catch. But sometimes when you get it off on the left, it just stands up and slides straight through.
Missy Gannon getting a birdie here. This is such a good birdie to get.
It definitely is. When you come into this back 4 holes, 15, 17, 18 are all holes that can really come back to bite you. So if you can go birdie or par, you're feeling pretty good. And 16 also plays through that Zuka truss. This one's a big bomb. 609-foot par 4. There's a bunch of newly planted trees here, as we did lose a huge tree right here in this dirt spot. You can see the drone flying over that used to make you kind of decide which side of it you wanted to play on. Now we have a bunch of tiny saplings to navigate, and you really just want to get as much distance as you can off the tee while being wary-some of the out-of-bounds cart path on the right, also the parking lot on the left, but you really have to throw a pretty bad angle to find the out-of-bounds on this one. Missy testing those newly planted trees, and they are gracious to her.
A lot of times you step up to this hole and you think, oh, look at all this space. I'm going to air it out, throw it as hard as I can. But you have to be conscious of your landing position. The further right, I feel like it makes the upshot harder. I like the positioning of your drive to land more on the left side of the fairway so you can get more of a hyzer into the basket. That's just my personal choice on how to play the hole. Also notice if you try to do a big distance turnover shot, a lot of times it just pulls over towards the road near that fence.
I think there are some more low branches on that right side coming in, whereas if you're off to the left, those trees are 100 feet high.
4 great drives from the card. See if these ladies can get their upshot into the green and give themselves a birdie look.
And that tree that Paige had to test right there is the one that Holly was talking about that makes that right side approach a lot harder than being 30 feet to the left or so. Lydia also playing to the right of that tree and just not quite able to push it straight enough.
And Missy's shot was a little too straight, and that is out of bounds. It's not at all what I expected to see. She was going for that same hyzer approach like Lydia and Paige, and it just got away from her.
Yeah, those flags in the back look like they were pulling a bit harder than most of the day, so maybe one of those wind gusts coming in and kind of rearing its head for the first time in the round, so the players feeling a little tension because of that, maybe.
Getting that upshot inside the circle. Ooh! Thought she was going for that.
She definitely looked to have that wrist cocked back to have the nose up. Looked like she wanted to give that one a bid.
Lydia deciding to just lay up this putt and take a drop-in par.
Yeah, this is another basket that we have elevated that just makes this green a little trickier. Otherwise, this hole doesn't have too much to get in your way. Great putt to clean up an unfortunately sloppy hole for Missy.
Katrina getting her par to drop here on the 16th. Sitting at 2 under for the round. I feel like the drive is the easy part of this hole. It's really the upshot that's the critical point.
Yeah, when you have that much open space, like Holly said, don't just throw a bomb. You kind of need to be intentional and choose your strong suit on the approach, because this hole can kind of bait you into trying to showcase your distance versus showcase your birdie ability.
Here we are, hole 17 with a brand new cement tee pad. Thank you, Waco crew. This place is a par 4 coming in at 530 feet. The drive is extremely important. You want to be in an ideal position, and you need to decide that when you game plan this course. Your second shot will likely be another layup, or if you're feeling aggressive, a forehand landing anywhere safe on this green area. A lot of ladies will play this for par unless your drive lands in the ideal position. This is another very nerve-wracking hole. It's easy to pull it right into that corner on the right, which is out of bounds. It's also easy to just let it come out a little early left and be out of bounds over that sidewalk. Or you get a case of the tournament juice, pump it too long, and you're out of bounds past the tree in the parking lot. But Paige Shue, that's a perfect position. You can get a 3 from there. I saw Valerie Mandujano do it last year. It's one of the most memorable shots of the tour. Ooh, I love this shot. I don't see that a lot.
Lydia going with that turnover backhand down the left side gap. And yeah, when you make that turn from 16 to 17 and 18, today we have that tailwind here on these holes, but a lot of times you flip back into that headwind that you haven't seen since hole 3, and these 2 holes can be daunting, especially with how pinpoint accurate hole 17's drive is. You really have to just crest that hill, but if you come with too much speed, like Holly said, I saw a lot of FPO players early in the morning just crest the backside of that hill and just pick up speed and roll out of bounds. Missy's going to have to make a decision from there, likely just lay up short or just make some progress around the corner, put it in bounds with the forehand.
Everything on the right side is out of bounds. Solid looking sidearm for Missy. Does it catch up safe? It does. Green flag. I like the enthusiasm of the spotter today.
Fortunate ground play for Missy. That side slope can spell disaster, and this needs to lift.
Lydia sent it out over the water, a little too nose down, a little too wide. That's out of bounds.
Yeah, you really have to err on the side of caution on this shot.
Does that not take some courage or what? I mean, it's out of bounds, but she's almost all the way down there, so.
Yeah, at the worst, she's going to take a 5 here and still has an outside chance at 4. Katrina lining up.
Oh, I'm liking
the big
the look
spiking
of this.
hyzer.
What is about to happen?
Not a super common play, but
What?
showing the power. Oh.
Oh, I wanted that to be in so bad. And it's not, though.
Yeah, Katrina doesn't have it in her to lay up that shot. She says, I'm going to try to make something happen. And 17, showing why it was the hardest hole on the course today at 0.77 strokes over par. It can really grab an out-of-bounds stroke quick on you.
Wow, are you serious?
Yeah.
7 strokes.
No, 0.7.
Okay.
No.
I was like, wait.
Yeah, 0.77. Almost a whole stroke, though. If y'all ever see a hole play 7 strokes over par, it's wrongly designed, you guys. Especially for these fields. Yeah, hard to get the leg push with that side slope there, and makes circle 2 really hard to connect when you can't get your legs into it.
Ooh, great par putt from Missy here on the 17th. Looked really strong.
Yeah, she's starting to show some more trust in that forehand. Went to it out over the water there and smartly takes her par.
And even though Lydia sent one into the water, walking away with a bogey here isn't that bad. This is another one of those holes that can really snowball if you let it get to you. Katrina also getting a bogey here on the 17th.
When you make a mistake on the 17th and only take a 5, you feel like, okay, not too bad. I can live with that. And there's not a lot of holes you can say that on. And what more to say about hole 18, Brazos East? Just look at it. It's a beautiful finisher. I think quite a treat to have 2 of my favorite finishers on our first 2 tour events of the year. As you see, you have that out of bounds pond there on the right. Most players electing to lay up to the left side and chip a shot just short of the basket, cresting this hill and parking it. You do not want to be putting back at this basket from the long side, and this is a good par 4 for the FPO field. Definitely the longer players on the right wind can attack to that right side and maybe even get long looks at that eagle. But a lot of players just looking to play 2 accurate shots and not have to do too much work on a scary putting green.
This is another drive that you really have to commit to. You have to pick an aim point, go for it. You can't be lazy with your drive. As soon as you are, it can skip up just like that and easily go OB on that sidewalk.
And the thing about this one is you kind of want to test that water on this layup, because if you land on the flat, it's a lot easier to throw a shot with a flat run up flat across the body, where if you have to run down that downslope and then try to throw flat, it can be a little bit trickier.
It sure is. The card executing 4 great shots.
Yeah, not a ton of FPO players choosing to attack to the right side, but we definitely have seen it in the past, and the upshot is really what this hole is all about.
Yeah, like Connor said, I prefer to be short or directly to the side of the basket so you're not putting at the water. And you can be OB long here too on your upshot. Didn't see any red flags, so Lydia looks to be safe even though it is a bit long. And Paige lands in the perfect spot. That's what I'm looking for. She sends that steady right outside the bullseye. She'll be putting for birdie.
This one looks nicely gauged out of Katrina. She's going to have still a putt to make here on the 18th, and Not the hottest round from her, but I think knowing that she can finish under par, she's going to be happy walking away today with as out of sorts as she looked in the middle there.
Missy also getting a birdie putt at it, but she'll be looking at the water.
Lydia seems to be considering this one.
No way.
But no, yeah. She was just taking her time, being deliberate.
I like it. Katrina Allen for birdie here on the 18th. From about 20 feet.
She has the wind off her right shoulder a little bit, which will want to lift her putter with the angle she likes to release it on. Look for her to release this one low and let it lift a little bit. Ooh.
Solid birdie putt. Good way to finish the round. That'll put her at 2 under for round 1. Ooh, strong putt from Missy as well. She'll also get a birdie here on the final hole.
Yeah, I foresee Katrina putting down a solid round off the tee and on the approach game tomorrow. She was definitely uncharacteristically off rhythm today.
Ooh, I like Paige's shirt as she taps in her birdie putt. I feel like everybody got all this new gear, but they can't show it off because it's too cold.
Yeah, once that sun came out around midday, though, it definitely
on hole
started
18.
heating up. Yeah.
We got to show off our new shirts on hole 18.
Yeah, I had to make a quick change before hole 1 and take my undershirt off because it was getting a little steamy. And here we see 2 scores under par, Paige and Katrina. Not a bad round, though, from Lydia.
Let's check out our leaderboard. Ella Hansen sitting in first. Deanne Carey and Haley King tied at second. 2 girls from North Carolina now. Saya Nanda. And check out a couple of the Europeans who've snuck on tour and also into the top 10.
Don't forget Kristen Tatar with that hot 9 down, showing she's here and she means business. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Ace Run Pro. Follow all the good stuff they'll be doing this year, bringing you guys commentary all year. Check me out on Instagram and Facebook.
At what?
Connor O'Reilly. You can find me.
You can find me on Instagram at ofinalefinley and get yourself a Innova Mako 3 tour series from Innova Factory Store. Appreciate you guys tuning in to this round 1 back 9 coverage of the Waco Annual Charity Open. We will see you tomorrow.